Today's talk feels like a hat day. This hat belonged to a very dear friend of mine back from when I was 14, and I guess I'm trying to draw on some of that energy today because it's been a little sad, a little rough, to say the least. Today is February 15th, and I'm walking down the beach further than I've ever walked. And I'm hoping that by the time I get back to my life, that first of all, the people with the tripods are gone. And that maybe I feel a little more settled. Today is the day that Pete and I officially agreed that we are not aligned. He has let me go. We've let each other go. We are just not on the same page, and he agreed and stated that our priorities are different. For me, priority was the relationship and time together as equal to my own best interest, my own, as equal to family. I did for a time put it ahead of myself and ahead of other priorities like developing a new career, and I did that for good reason, because his family, his parents needed us, and I don't regret that. I showed up like any devoted partner should. That's exactly what I should have done. I just thought we were in it forever. But as with many things in life, forever didn't seem to pan out being as long as the word implies. So I'm walking down the beach with the girls, and I've been mostly alone for over a year anyway. Pete and I have become pretty much people that text each other nice things, and sometimes not so nice things. But it's not like my day-to-day life will change that much with this relationship change. I've been alone, and if he ever wonders why, hopefully he won't, because he agreed we have different priorities, and I needed for us and time together and our relationship to be equal, barring crises, right? I consider the parents' decline and illness as crisis, and so that's why I was totally fine coming second or third, probably third or possibly fourth, but definitely not first, and that was fine. I just didn't realize that it would stay that way, and that's where I think I'm a bit naive. They say that people show you who they are, and I think that's true. It's just sometimes hard to see it because the surrounding context can really muddle things up and delay real clarity. But before or health concerns. The money that it costs to see each other still came ahead of being in the relationship. I mean, for me, I would have invested, and did, those few $1,000s to keep a connection strong. Because keep the connection strong, and then when this period of having to be apart is over, you have something. You've kept it strong, but instead, it's been allowed to die. Whether or not it can be resurrected, I guess, remains to be seen. But I'm going to make very, very sure that it's priority one, if it does. I'm not really able to have someone closely and intimately in my life without making them priority one or equal to the other priority ones, in life. And that's just the way I'm built. I think there's an eagle over there in the tree. I love this beach. I've walked down this beach before with a troubled mind, and it's somehow it's always soothing. No matter what's going on, it seems the beach and the ocean is here. This beach might change if the big earthquake comes, but then our problems will be solved. At least those of us living on the island when it slips into the sea. When we are swallowed up by Mother Earth and we feed other life in the ocean. Food for worms, or in that case, food for probably fish. Sometimes I think we have to get over ourselves. These concerns that we have. This is Tennyson. Something I've popped into my mind, it just popped in again. Many a hearth upon our dark globe sighs, after many a vanished face. Many a planet by many a sun may roll with the dust of a vanished race. Raving politics never at rest, as this poor earth's pale history runs. What is it all but the trouble of ants in the gleam of a million of suns? These dramas, I mean, the most legitimate ones would probably be life and death itself, birth, a loved one ill, a loved one passing. But still, all of these things don't last, and the memories don't last. I mean, even if you think of one of the most famous people that ever lived, maybe they even have a book written about them, but that's, I think, few and far between. The vast majority of us live and we're erased. Within a few generations, I think you'd be even lucky if there's a photograph of you in a family and 2 adjectives to describe you. I found that my Uncle Sandy, who left this earth, probably about almost 10 years ago, he had family history, and there's a photograph. And I just remember thinking, so there was the name of this distant relative, and it said he was described as mean. And it's like, so why are we all bent out of shape about a lot of what goes on? I mean, in the context of life and death and a few generations, just about everything you do is going to be forgotten. And it doesn't mean that we aren't significant, because we are so significant to the ones that we love. And I would say even more significant to the ones that we show up for. And maybe we found some way to even show up for the world in some way that might leave us with an adjective. So I'm going through yet another breakup. I've gone through many in my lifetime, unfortunately, and I suspect this will likely be the last one, because menopause has made it so that I don't have a lot of need for the physical stuff. And I'm more concerned with having a peaceful life or a contented existence. And although I think that having a truly devoted man would be truly wonderful, and I'm not totally close to that, but wow, I'm literally staring at a bald eagle super close up, and the bald eagle is just scanning the whole beach. Hi! Yeah, just looked at us too. Anyway, that's freaking cool. Hello, wise one. Yeah. So, although it would be wonderful, I think it's so important you realize, hopefully you realize as you age, that alignment is so much more important than just mere company. I mean, I can have company. Hi, Eagle. Hello, Eagle. You're so beautiful. Wow. I can go into a pub and find company. I'm fortunate that there's friends I can call if I need company or want company. I am really lucky. I do realize that. But in terms of the whole intimacy thing, it's got to be worth the sacrifice of autonomy, right? I asked him a few months ago, do you feel happy that we're in each other's lives? Do you feel like, do you feel happy that we have each other? And honestly, his response was, well, I don't want to be alone.
Seriously?
I think for most people on the outside, hearing something like that would be like, why did you not end it right then and there? What in the world would have made you continue?
A few people have
And
said that.
I think it's probably because I gave him the benefit of the doubt, you know?
Like people
And
that
there is
work.
a little bit of verbal discomfort with discussing anything vulnerable. Maybe that was it. Or maybe it's true. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but when a man loves a woman, does he not find it natural to make her his priority and make her his woman and his wife, or, you know, and, you know, you hear these stories about people that were together for years and then they break up and then 6 months later, you know, the guy's married. And so I can only suppose that I just wasn't the one.
Well,
He was against the idea of getting married. And yet there was someone in his life previously that he did ask. So it's good. It sucks for now. But the last time I went through a big breakup, I studied myself and I noted that it took about 6 weeks to, you know, begin a process of feeling better. I think it might be a little faster this time because I've been emotionally detaching from any sort of outcome with this relationship for at least a couple of months. You know, when he brought up money again, and you know that he wasn't willing to spend it except for twice a year, and spending 2 weeks a year together is not enough for me to maintain a full-time relationship. That's kind of needing to downgrade to, well, it would be lovely to see you sometime. But not like this is your boyfriend, this is your partner.
Right?
So there you have it. I am, I guess, technically single, but I am not going to consider myself single because I am going to be devoted to myself, and that seems to be a fairly long process. Learning how, because I think the not valuing myself or my contribution, that is a very complex process. It's like peeling an onion and peeling it and peeling it and peeling it, and then going on and going, oh shit, there's another layer of it that I didn't see. And yeah, when I started this relationship, I looked at it and I was like, well, he's got aging parents. He's got a full-time job with benefits that pays well. He's got a house. It doesn't make sense for me to say, move to British Columbia. Whereas, you know, I was between careers. I had a full-time job that was paying enough to meet my needs, but it was not in any way a career or a meaningful job, and it wouldn't be a sort of rest of my life sustainable job, especially with a really quirky boss.
It was a general store.
So I did what I thought was the sensible thing, to be able to explore the relationship, which was, I went back. And I guess, I don't know what he thought, but he definitely didn't think I had any kind of a life, because I think for him, having a life of value means you've got a house, you've got a routine, you've got a job, a proper job, So I think he realizes now that I have a life out here, which for me is,
I don't know he understands it though.
places that I love to be and spend time, and people that I love, and, a daughter, and now, a job, and which is a career path, job. I'm getting new experience and learning new things all the time. I am at this most interesting spot. There's an island, and the waters. There's this spot now where the water, it's calm, and then it's like two waters meeting each other and conflicting. One side of it's almost a line. There's actually little teeny white caps, waves going to and fro like a current, quite the current. It's so cool. And the cross waters. Yeah, I guess as it's flowing around this island, it's got a couple of directions, and the two directions meet. One wants to go one way, and one's going the other way.
That's right.
And so they bring it to a standstill.
Yep.
That's a pretty good metaphor for where things are at with me right now, or that were with Pete and I. Anyway, I do wish him all the best, and he has some stuff going on. I know that, but I can't put him ahead of myself anymore, because it just kept being that way, and I was floundering. I was out of money. I was going into debt. I was in debt. So I had to stop. I had to start putting myself as my well-being as at least equal. It's like our relationship was dependent upon me being the one. That's not what you want to be doing. I'm naive, and it was foolish of me, but I don't feel foolish, because I gave it everything I could possibly give it, and I gave it my all. I showed up, I sacrificed, I was a devoted partner and a devoted family member, and for him that wasn't going to be enough, or maybe that was enough, but I would have had to keep myself and my own well-being as a lower priority, and that was not something I could continue to do. I'm not like some mega selfish person. I am willing to come second or third when needs arise, like family and other people in crisis or whatever. But I'm just going to be so much more careful about who I love. And that's friends, that's work, that's everybody. Because I don't know about showing up halfway or part way. So I have to be careful about who I let myself love and care about and prioritize. That's just the way it is. That's the way it is. Oops. These stupid dogs are getting all in a tangle. And I've got Sadie on the leash because we were accosted by a man with a tripod.